A warm welcome to you, Bindu, and a very warm welcome to you watching us either live or on replay. My name's Amanda Craven, and for those who haven't met me before, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and life coach specialising in helping leaders and entrepreneurs break free from trauma symptoms, whether that be childhood trauma, toxic relationships, or other forms of emotional trauma. And I'm really excited about this series of LinkedIn Lives that are also being streamed to YouTube, where we're looking at connections, not only making more business connections, but making connections between success and adversity and trauma experiences. And I'm really, really pleased to have an amazing, accomplished lady with me today, Bindu, who is a corporate well-being coach and has many, many strings to her bow. So in a moment, I'm going to ask Bindu to introduce herself more fully, and so that you can get to know her. And if you have any questions, whether you're on live or on a replay, you can pop your questions in the comments or the chat box, and Bindu will answer your questions if they're aimed at her. And of course, I will get back to you if the questions are for me. So let's get going. Bindu, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Amanda. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Oh, thank you. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you do, what that means being a corporate wellbeing coach? And then I'm going to ask you to talk about your journey till this point in time.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, I'm an executive resilience coach. I help corporate professionals, especially C suite professionals, break free from stress, anxiety, and burnout. Because it's very important in this day and age, stress is a major factor that is impacting all the executives. And this is where I come into picture to help them.
Fantastic. So, yeah, very, very needed at the moment. There is a lot of stress, a lot of burnout, and well-being. I think it is changing. The corporate attitude to well-being. It's not just being seen as a fluffy extra, but as part of a strategy for growth and for success. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Stress causes a lot of mental pressure, which especially for the senior executives, it can impact the decision making, and they are the face of the company, and all the decisions are made by them. So it's really important that they manage their mental and emotional stress. Very
Mm.
important.
Yes, yeah. And have you seen changes in attitudes towards well-being in the workplace over the last few years?
Absolutely. I work with many CFOs, and I did see that, with my program, which is the Heart Math program, it's all about building emotional resilience,
Mm.
ensuring that they take using better decision making through intuition. This is a totally new thing where they're using their heart than the mind. So, I have seen that they're making amazing decisions, not just based on the logic, but they're using the wisdom from the heart.
Mm, mm. So that must be a very new concept for a lot of people, especially as I know that you have in the past worked a lot with financial professionals, and to then try and transition into making decisions from their intuition, from their heart. Is that a difficult transition to help people to make?
I think initially, yes, because we've been so programmed, we are so wired to take decisions from the mind or the brain. But
Mm,
now, using your heart has infinite wisdom. So this is proven. This is a research that's been done for over 25 years by Heart Math Institute, and they have come up with some tools and techniques. How can you use your heart much more than the brain? So we call it coherence. That means the mind, emotions, and your heart is working together. So when it is the time when you're not in stress, this is the time you take decisions. So we
mm,
have a program where we help executives always try to be in coherence. Either they're going to a meeting where they have to take very big decisions, so they use these tools and techniques to
right,
take decisions.
right. Okay. Yeah. A very different, different approach, a different angle.
Absolutely, but
Mm.
scientifically proven as well.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. And the best decisions are made when we're not in crisis mode, when we're not feeling threatened by whether it's the economy or by competition or some other aspect of life or business life. So yes, I'm getting a sense that you help them clear that space so that they can tap into their intuition.
Absolutely. With these techniques, we help them to tap into that infinite wisdom in their heart. So
Mm.
then they are actually in that state of mind where they are more calmer, more peaceful, and they can listen to the heart than the mind.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit about your journey. What has led you to where you are now and what you're doing now?
Sure. So I have been into finance for more than 20 years, and I'm a qualified accountant. And my journey started with finance, and from there I moved into IT. And 4 years ago, I somehow got into meditation. I think it was a crisis. I was facing crisis. So for
Mm,
having peace of mind, I learned how to meditate. When I started meditating, I understood the mind body connection.
mm,
And this is when I got more curious about what it is all about. And then I started learning more, investing into myself, and started retraining myself into spiritual sciences. I've read hundreds of books, and this is where I've actually discovered my true life purpose. And this is where my journey started 4 years ago. And I started working with many scientists across the globe who are actually spiritual scientists who bring in science and spirituality together. And spirituality is nothing, it's nothing to do with a religion. It is about who we are really. We all are spirits, and we have infinite potential within us as a human being. But because of the way we've been programmed during our childhood, the childhood traumas, and we are conditioned not to do everything really. So this is what stops us to become that person who
mm.
really want to become. And
Yeah.
this has been my passion as an inner child therapist. I love helping people to discover their inner child wounds that they have
Mm.
been sweeping under the carpet for years and years. I help
Yes.
them to come out of it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and I totally agree that our early years, especially in the Western world, we have a one size fits all approach to education, to healthcare. It's very one dimensional, isn't it? And work that you do helps people to look inside and to open up.
Absolutely. And currently, I'm pursuing my PhD in metaphysics. Metaphysics is
Wow.
nothing but the nature of your reality. So, who are we as a human being? We're spirits, and what is the potential that we possess? So, this is the study that I'm doing, and I'm fascinated by how much we as an individual can do. But because of the programming that we have, the deep rooted paradigms that we've been carrying from many years from
Mm,
our childhood, is
mm.
stopping us to become who we really want to become.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And that word paradigm, we hear a lot at the moment. We hear it a lot in the arena of mindset coaching, for example. Could you elaborate a little bit more on what a paradigm is and what it means?
So, paradigms are nothing but these are deep rooted programming in our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is formed, it's wide open until the age of 7.
Mm,
So, right from the time we are fetus in mother's womb till the age we are 7 years old, we absorb everything that is happening around us like a sponge
mm,
because the brain state is in theta. That means we just absorb that's happening. So, whatever belief systems as a parent they carry, and whatever programming that's been given to us as a child from the schools, we kind of absorb everything. So, this is what the programming is all about. This is like a hardwired program in a laptop. So, if you
mm,
have a wrong program, you just deliver what is within, right? So, you cannot
mm,
expect something else. So, this is what a paradigm is. These are deep rooted programs in our subconscious mind. For us to change, yes, we all have the power to break these paradigms, but it needs a lot of resilience because you are obviously whatever age you are, 30 years or 40 years, you've been carrying these programs, right? So it's not as easy as we think to break it, but we definitely have the power to break it. And to break these paradigms, we need to start by simple habits, changing what you do every day. So this the habit changing is the initial steps to break the paradigm.
mm. Okay, yeah, thank you for that, because yeah, I know when I first came across the word, I did have to go and look it up, and it is used an awful lot. So, as you know, my specialism is in helping leaders and entrepreneurs break free from traumatic experiences and the symptoms of trauma in order to create joy and success and growth both in their life and in their business. Have you witnessed or experienced that transition from trauma or adversity to success yourself? And it may be a personal experience, it may be something you've seen in somebody else, in one of your clients, for example.
Absolutely. I mean, 95% in the world are actually dysfunctional families. What that means is there is no conscious parenting. Conscious parenting is something new, and none of them are conscious parents. Because of this, the behavior of the parents causes lots of trauma, lots of emotional wounds to the children. So many of us do carry many wounds that we're
Mm,
not aware of. They're in the subconscious mind. And I
mm,
have seen many of my clients who's been carrying a lot of trauma because of the incidents that took place in their childhood.
mm,
And until and unless they healed themselves, they could not succeed in life. So, yes, it's definitely proven. I have witnessed many cases where, when somebody faces a trauma, once they have to go through the therapy, absolutely, they come out as a new person because they release that burden they've been carrying in the subconscious mind and they build a new self image.
mm,
And
mm.
then there's inevitably success for them.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there is a phenomenon, isn't there? Post traumatic growth that
Absolutely.
is well documented, and there is more and more research being done on that. You mentioned resilience a few moments ago, and there is a lot of resilience building that can take place when somebody is coming out of trauma.
Absolutely, absolutely, and because once they know, I think there is a saying where they say that 50% you have healed if you know the root cause of it, right?
Mm,
So now when they've discovered the root cause of their problem, and if something like that happens in future, they know that this is the root cause, and it's very much easy to heal, right?
mm. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Once you've identified what is holding you back, what is creating those limiting beliefs, then you can address that root cause and move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've worked with many executives, and it is very surprising to see that many of them do have a lot of childhood traumas.
Mm,
And, this is quite surprising, although sometimes they do see as a face of an organization, but we all are human beings at the end of the day. So we
yes.
all need to heal ourselves. Very
And
important.
yeah, sorry, we don't choose
Yes,
what family or what setting or what part of the world we are born into. That is just what happens to us. And
absolutely.
in those first few years, and you mentioned the key age of 7, which is quite a critical developmental age. Up until that point, then we are just victims of circumstance, and all of us have unmet needs, whether we are born
Yeah,
into the most loving family that doesn't have any economic problems or whatever. A child comes into the world needing and wanting 24/7 care and just unconditional love, and just they want the attention of their parents or their carers 24/7 round the clock, every single day. And even the most loving parents, they need to sleep and they need to maybe go out to work. So by definition, we all have unmet needs, and of course, in some people, those unmet needs are far more significant than just not having that attention all the time. Uh,
absolutely. I
mm,
have seen many adults. One of the unmet need is the emotional need, the need
mm,
for love,
mm,
and this is what has been. This is an unmet need for them, and now later, now in this generation, we do see many parents are working and they don't really understand the needs of the child. All they believe is just food, water, clothes.
mm,
This is what the need of a child, but there's much more behind that. And
mm,
this is where the conscious parenting comes into picture. And I
mm,
do work with Dr. Bruce Lipton, a leading scientist who
mm,
wrote the book The Biology of Beliefs, and he's all about conscious parenting. And he does say that it is important for the parents to understand they need to become conscious before
mm,
they can become parents, because they would not understand what is the need of a child until they are conscious themselves,
mm.
right? So the conscious parenting is the very much need in this world right now, because many children getting addicted to mobile phones or different sort of things is purely because the parents are not being conscious about what the children are doing. So this
Mm.
is the most important need of the hour.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was listening to an interview the other day with Joe Wicks. Is it Joe Wicks, the fitness guy? I think it's Joe Wicks. I'm second guessing
Yeah.
myself now. Anyway, he became particularly famous in the UK, and I think globally in lockdown during the pandemic, because he ran fitness sessions online that school kids and their parents could all join in with, and I think he received, it was either an OBE or an MBE, for his service to the country, to the nation, in inspiring us to keep moving and keep fit. So a very now successful guy. He's reaching millions of people through his fitness work, and he also talks a lot and has written books on healthy eating and recipes that will help us stay well. So yeah, successful in terms of reaching lots of people,
Mhm.
making plenty of money. So by in business terms, being a great success. Has I think 2 or 3 children. Absolutely adores his kids. Happily married. So the epitome of success, you would think. But when he talks about his early years, you discover that his father was a heroin addict. His mother
Mm,
had very severe mental health problems, including a form of OCD where the house had to be cleaned and he had to
mm,
hoover his bedroom every single morning before going to school, and then repeat the routines when he got in from school. So very dysfunctional.
mm.
His father, even when physically present, and I think he was in and out of rehab quite a lot, but even when he was physically present, he wasn't emotionally present because of his addiction. But he never felt unloved all
Mm.
through that process. So, despite the trauma, despite the chaos, he felt that love. And I believe from listening to his story that that is what has helped him get through it. It wasn't without incidents, and I think he did struggle at school. He struggled with focus and didn't get the attention that he needed to help him through. So I'm sure there were lots of messy times, but he's come out of the other end of that trauma and the less than ideal circumstances, poverty, just just about everything you could imagine was present in his childhood. But that constant love, he knew his parents loved him to the
Mm.
best of their ability, and now he has good relationships with his parents. So he has come out a strong person and wants to help others. He's a doting father. He makes sure that his children don't lack for anything. So I think that's a really good example of how the resilience and success and growth can come out of adversity, some really terrible circumstances.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's important to recognize that it's not only being loved, also self love is also very important, because
Mm,
without self love, we just can't pour out of an empty cup. So we got to love ourselves to love
mm.
other people. So I just want to call out self love is really important.
Yes.
Many people do struggle to love other people. It's only because they don't love themselves, firstly.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And if there is anybody watching and listening who thinks, well, I don't love myself, and I've had some really strong reactions from my own clients over the years, and they have found it really, really difficult to say anything nice to themselves or about themselves. Have you any suggestions for somebody where they could start if they're not in a position of loving themselves for who they are at this moment?
Yeah, I think one quick tip for that would be, it could be very difficult in the beginning, but it gets better over time. Standing in front of the mirror and placing your hand on your heart and saying their name and saying, I love you. So if I were to say in front of the mirror, I say, Bindu, I love you. So this is the way you start loving yourself. I mean, it's so important. How can we expect somebody to love us if we don't love our own self, firstly?
Mm,
Right?
mm,
So, this is
yes.
very important. Self love is extremely important.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I believe that if we have regard and love for ourselves, that that sends out energetic messages to other people. When we don't think much of ourselves, when we don't feel worthy, our bar is very low, and we will attract people who are going to treat us in a very low way, without
Absolutely.
respect and regard. So, by creating a self love or working on self love, we're pushing that bar up, aren't we? And attracting a much higher energetic level of, yeah, of regard and treatment from other people. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Heart Math Institute have done a lot of research on the power of heart. So our heart is much more powerful than the brain, and the field of energy that the heart emits is much, much wider, right? So when we people who feel unworthy are at a, vibrating at a very low level, according to Dr. David Hawkins, who wrote the book The Power versus Force, and he talks about the vibration. So when you look at people who don't love themselves or they feel unworthy, they're vibrating at a very, very low frequency. And you, because the secrets of the universe just lies in energy, vibration, and frequency, right? So we are energetic beings, we are electromagnetic beings. We are made up of 99.999% energy and
Mm,
0.0001% matter. So
okay.
we all are emitting energy constantly. So
Mm,
somebody feeling very, having very low self-esteem or low self-worth, they're vibrating at a very low frequency, and they tend to attract people into the life of the same nature.
mm,
So, and love is the highest frequency in the universe. Love can heal relationships, love can heal your body as well. So, when you start loving yourself, you raise your vibration. As you raise your love vibration, you are emitting such a great field of energy, and you tend to attract people who are somebody equivalent to your vibrational match.
yes, yeah. Absolutely. So, would you suggest that somebody just tries to do that gradually if their self worth and self love is at a very low level, just to push it up gradually? I guess you can't go from down here to up there.
Absolutely. So it's not that easy, but one easy way to raise your vibration is through gratitude. Expressing gratitude first thing in the morning or writing a gratitude journal can also raise your vibration, and this is the most easiest and the quickest way,
Mm,
because we are so grateful for what we are having right now. All the people think, I don't have this, I don't have that. But no, if you start writing your gratitude journal, even
mm,
for the things that you've which could sound simple that you've been taking for granted,
mm,
like the ability to see, the ability to walk, the ability to talk, right?
mm,
And most importantly, every day is an opportunity because you're still breathing. There's
yeah.
so many people who go to sleep and might not even wake up the next day, right? If you were to express gratitude, life will automatically transform.
Mm, mm. Yeah, so we can always find something or some things to feel thankful for, even on our darkest of days.
Absolutely. Being thankful for the bed you're sleeping on a cold winter night,
Mm,
thankful
mm,
for the pillow, right? And simple things that you think, oh, these are just for granted. But if you go out, how many people do you see sleeping on the streets
mm.
in the cold winter days? So,
Yeah,
yes, there's so many things to be grateful for.
yeah, beautiful. Yeah, yeah, thank you. So, if somebody watching wants to know more, wants to have a chat with you, wants to find out more about your work, Bindu, how can they get in touch? How can they find out more about you?
Yeah, they can get in touch through LinkedIn by a DM,
Mm,
definitely, and or by email, which is on my website. And I work with executives to help them break free from stress, burnout, and anxiety, to help them become more emotionally resilient, take better decisions, and also holistic and health and happiness through the Heart Math program. This
mm.
is a wonderful program that's scientific, research based, and peer reviewed. The research has been done for over 25 years where they
Wow.
discovered the power of heart. And
Mm,
with using the power of heart and the emotions, like we've been talking about, lack of self worth. What is the opposite of lack of self worth? Self love, compassion, right? So, using emotions, we can actually change the way of living. According to this program, I've been working with many clients and they transformed their life completely because they were able to connect with their heart. And using the emotions of joy, happiness, gratitude, they're able to raise themselves even when they have a very bad day. but connecting with your heart and being grateful for what you have right now, you automatically raise your vibration.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's a beautiful reminder about gratitude, because a lot of people are struggling with a lot of things right now. But to be reminded that there is always something to be grateful for, and yeah, it can be something very, very simple. That in a recent conversation with a client, we were talking about just getting or receiving the smile from a stranger. Sometimes when you're just feeling a bit low and somebody smiles at you, or just lets you go first in the queue, or something quite small that kind of restores your faith in humanity and just makes you feel that the world is not always a bleak place, and anything at all.
Yes, absolutely. Kindness doesn't cost us anything, right?
No.
And I work with Dr. David Hamilton, who wrote the book, The Five Side Effects of Kindness. And this
Mm,
is a New York bestseller. And in his book, he's a research scientist who's been doing research on who's working in the pharmaceutical industry doing research on the heart. But he obviously understood the medicines does not work, so he came out of his profession and started writing books. And he wrote this book, The Five Side Effects of Kindness, where he talks about how our body can heal when
mm.
we are more kind to people, how we can, how kindness can help us with our well-being. So it's a wonderful book, and I recommend all of the audience who's listening to read that book.
Oh, right. Well, maybe you can give me the title, or pop it in the comments below the video when it's streamed
Yes, absolutely.
to LinkedIn. That would be amazing. Oh, so for people on LinkedIn, they can just click on your profile and DM you. And on YouTube, I will pop your website link in the description so people can reach you in that way.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bindu. A really inspiring conversation with you. You have such a wealth of knowledge and experience, and have sprinkled a few beautiful tips throughout our conversation. So, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Amanda. It's a pleasure to have me here, and I really enjoyed this chat. And I hope this chat would definitely help the audiences to understand a little bit more about a mind and traumas that we've been carrying, and why is it important to heal them, and how they can become a better person by, working on themselves.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And reaching that success following adversity or trauma. And success is whatever each and every person defines it as. There's no one way to be successful. So whatever that is for you as a viewer, it's always possible. It's always possible.
Absolutely.
So thanks again to Bindu. Thank you to you for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.